that, guys. I got roped into talking to somebody on it on the what. It was kind of like a bit of a debate. Just think if I'd have live streamed on my other phone, I could have read it to you. I'm gonna try and describe what happened, you guys. Alright. So basically, this guy, I said to him, I just get this feeling you're not really interested in me anymore. Before I said that, I just said, oh, you're not interested. And he's like, oh, because I have to work and, you know, have obligations and stuff. I said, no, because I just have a feeling that you're not interested now. Like you've been put off by something. For the first time, someone has been honest with me, though. But he still irked me anyway. And he said, oh, well, you know, for, like, the possible evils of men. She's never said, like, all men are evil or anything. Or all men are bad, or all men do this and that. Like, I get they're all different because there's, like, millions of the damn things on Earth. So they're obviously not going to be all the same. And she gets that. So this guy now thinks that, oh, I've inherited this bad attitude from my mum or something. So it's not a bad attitude, it's just a certain attitude that's going to keep me safe, like designed to keep me safe, so I'm not like having sex with like random blokes or something. He thinks I've got a bad attitude about people to do with this kind of thing, to do with sex and stuff. And I need to, what's that word, like separate myself from my mum, spend less time with my mum or something, and gain my own opinions, form my own opinions on people and life and things, instead of going off of hers. And I'm like, well, it's not all my mum's opinions. I have experienced stuff for myself. Excusez-moi. He's got this idea about myself. No. He's got this idea about me that all my opinions are my mum's, and I'm just going off of everything my mum has said. And basically, I don't have a mind of my own or something. Or I've had experiences of my own, like I've been that sheltered, like I've not been out of the house, I've not been talking to people online all this time, and I'm only just doing it now. But I'm going off of everything my mum has said. It's like, no, not really. I've actually had experiences and formed my own opinions about stuff as well. And they all do happen to coincide with my mum's as well. And it's all to do with the fact that on my profile on FET, it does say that I don't want to have sex with blokes until I know them a bit better. And they all assume it's for religious reasons. Like, it's for religious reasons why I want to wait for relationship or marriage or whatever. And it's like, no, it's just good sense. It's common sense. I don't want to catch diseases. I don't want to get polyps. I don't want to get pregnant. I don't want to catch feelings, you know, and being pumped and dumped, you know. It's that sort of thing. Nothing to do with religion. Why do people go there? Why do people always assume that because you want to wait for the right person and do things the right way, it's to do with religion or superstition? It's nothing to do with that. Like, oh, well, if you have sex before marriage, you're going to go to hell. It's nothing to do with that. And besides, my religion doesn't frown upon sex before marriage. And the only religion that I know of that does is Mormons. There might be others, I don't know for sure. So yeah, I'm Protestant Christian. As far as I know, they don't frown upon sex before marriage. You can do whatever the hell you like. It's like, all you have to do is believe in God. That's pretty much it, as far as I know. And no, I don't think you're going to go to hell for not doing. You know, it's not a cult. It's just like, you know, it's more like free. You can do whatever you want. You can sort of do things your own way. It's just a lot of people, like, even in religion, the reason why they frown upon sex before marriage is for logical reasons. It's not superstition or anything like that. Or God frowns upon it for no reason, just being a tyrant. It's nothing like that. It's actually to do with the very same reasons I am talking about, which is God knows that it can lead to lots of problems. You know, having random sex with strangers and, you know, having lots of sex with different people. Again, diseases, getting pregnant before you're actually ready and wanting a child, finding yourself with a child, but you're single and having to raise it all by yourself because it's always put upon the woman, isn't it? Because if the guy pumps and dumps you, he fucks off. Doesn't have anything to do with the child. You're stuck raising the damn thing. It's logic. It's common sense. Like, the woman might be all like, well, you know, thanks for that. I just wanted a bit of fun, but now I've got a fucking child. Now I've got to go through a bunch of pain to birth the damn thing. Now I've got to raise it all on my own. I'm like 17. I've got no money. You know, it's like, duh. And rather than risk the painful decision of going through an abortion, you know, it's best to sort of fucking prevent it in the first place. You know, duh. This is the reasons why it's that way in religions that do frown upon sex before marriage. They think, well, you know, it's kind of selfish. And I will admit, a lot of religions do frown upon selfishness. So wouldn't you say that having sex just for pleasure is kind of selfish? Especially if it results in a child that you don't even fucking want, and then everyone suffers. Maybe even possibly the child, because if it's not aborted, it's given up for adoption because the parent doesn't want it. But if the parent decides to keep it, then, like, everyone suffers because maybe they're not in the right position to have a child, you know? Like, you know, the poor, having to raise it on their own. It's a lot of hard work. Maybe the parent has to get 50 million jobs to support it. Okay, but I digress. Anyway, so I can understand why religions do frown upon sex before marriage. It's not a superstitious thing, it's a logical thing. It's trying to protect you from these things, especially, like I say, unwanted pregnancies, diseases, polyps. Do you know what has to happen to remove a polyp? They have to take a tweezer-like object, shove it up your lady parts, and pull it off while you are still awake. They don't even give you any kind of, what's that word? Thing to numb it, you know? And I know this because, yes, that was one of my mum's experiences. That does happen. Cancers. All this stuff is caused by sex, so why risk it for the wrong fucking person? Just for some random fling. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not judging people who do it, so don't say that. I'm talking about why religions have this mindset. It's to protect people. God is trying to protect you, the woman, especially. Like all these people who think, oh, religion's all about, you know, the benefits. It's like, no, this is for the woman's benefit, so she doesn't have to risk yanking polyps off and dealing with cancers and dealing with diseases and unwanted pregnancies. Again, logic. No one thinks about the logic side of it. They just think, oh, it's because everyone's made it, you know, a bad thing, like a taboo thing. It's like not even to do with anything taboo. Again, it's common sense. This is why, and I've not learned this. This is my own opinion. I've never actually heard it, but this just makes sense to me. And these are my reasons, and it's nothing to do with religion. It's just what I have sort of been taught, and also an opinion I've formed myself from being taught it. It's like, yeah, there was a time when I thought, you know, it is kind of unfair. Maybe it would be okay if, like, I had casual sex, if, you know, if I was horny and I wanted to have sex with someone and just wanted to just do it, you know, like whoever's available and you know, is willing. But from all of this stuff puts me off. Oh, I forgot the other thing, and that is once a woman starts having sex, she has to have fucking smear tests I can't remember, like twice a year or something. That's also invasive and painful and uncomfortable and makes you feel sick. Because not only do they have to spread the insides, they have to put some fucking great, huge, enormous earbud inside of you. It's like this big and swirl it around inside of you. And that makes you feel sick. It's not even going in your lady parts, it's actually going in your freaking uterus. Can you imagine how that feels? I don't know, but it sounds horrendous. Anyway, so those are my reasons. Plus the feeling side of it. And we all know that when you have sex, it is a possibility that you can develop feelings for the person you've had sex with. So if I was to have sex with the wrong person, i.e. a random stranger, they might just think, okay, wham bam thank you ma'am, and fuck off. And I'm like, oh, but I love him now. And he's fucked off. And I'm left with all these feelings that I've got to deal with now, thanks to you. You know, it's like, again, I could become depressed because of it. I mean, this happened to me by a guy that I did kind of develop feelings for, but not having sex with him. But I just, I did kind of fancy him, and I was hoping to become in a relationship with him, and it didn't happen. And I was left with these feelings I had to deal with. But it would be like 100 times amplified if you'd had the sex as well, because it gives off all these like euphoric hormones and the love hormone and everything, which is basically just that hormone you get when you're like high. It's basically a drug. It's not love. It's something that makes you feel like it's just a really pleasurable euphoric feeling, and you can associate it with the person that you've just had sex with because they've made you feel all fantastic. So wouldn't it be better to feel those feelings for someone that you've known for a long time and you've developed a bond with, and you actually do already love and like them? There you go. So that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's nothing to do with being a prude. It's nothing to do with being asexual. I mean, they have a word for it now. It's called demisexual. But it's just normal. This is just how people used to be back in the olden days. And no offense, but the olden days were the right. They did all the right things. The ways of the olden days was the right things to do things. Meet someone, court them, have the relationship, get to know them, then get married, get the house, then have children. You're all set up. You've already got a career or jobs or whatever, or the man has. Maybe the woman doesn't, she just focuses on the house, the cooking, the cleaning, the raising the kids. He goes out to work, he's established, she brings home money. You've got money, you've got the house, you're stable, you're established. What better time to have a child than when you're all established? I know everyone's like, oh, people can do whatever they like now. No free will, free love. And it's like, yeah, they can do it, but where do they get themselves? Pregnant and usually fucking homeless or something. Or living in a fucking council house, or living with roommates and they've got a child that they've got to support and they're like stressed and miserable. They've got no father to help take care of it. It's fucking terrible. Why would you want that? So you think that's the right way then? Having a few flings just for fun, getting yourself in trouble, maybe getting diseases and cancers and having to deal with that, getting a kid you don't want, having to deal with that, and struggling. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's the right way to do things. That's no good for anyone. The woman's stressed out, the kid's probably stressed out and upset because maybe it doesn't get as much attention, or maybe the woman is like yelling at it because she's like overwhelmed and stressed. Maybe she doesn't have a lot of time to spend with the child because she's busy working 3,000 jobs to try and support them. I suppose it's okay if she has a family that can help out, but not everybody has that. I'd be fucking screwed if I got pregnant. I got no one to help me. If I got pregnant and the father fucked off and didn't help out, I'd be fucking screwed. We've got no money, my mum's disabled, I have to take care of my mum and a fucking child. Do you think I'm in the right position to just pump and dump someone? Do you? Should have said that to him. And when I say that, I mean he would pump and dump me. Obviously, I wouldn't do that because I'm a nice person. So, So anyway, this is what irked me about this guy. This is what irked me, that apparently if you want to do things the right way, apparently you've got a bad attitude and you're asexual, apparently, and you're not a sexual person and you don't like sex. It's like nothing to do with not liking sex. It's to do with not wanting to risk, like I say, gaining feelings, getting your heart broken, being jilted, not getting diseases, not getting pregnant, all for some random stranger you don't know that might not want to anything more serious with you. And it's like some women want to take that risk. I guess it's their choice, I suppose, if they want to take all that risk. But I don't want to do it. But it doesn't make me asexual. It doesn't make me having a bad attitude. It doesn't make me a what is the word? Whatever it is that these people call me. So far he said I'm jaded. So far he said I have a bad attitude. So far he said I'm asexual. So far he said that I'm like, I got to be religious then. It's like, not really. At least be specific. At least say, are you Mormon? Because they're the only ones that I know of that don't have sex until marriage. For this meal. So yeah, that's why the guys pissed me off, because apparently you're either sexual and having sex all over the place, or you're trying to do the right thing, but apparently that makes you asexual. It doesn't mean I don't want sex, it doesn't mean I don't get urges, it just means I control them better than most people, that's it. In my 20s I used to be really, I used to have a really strong sex drive. And it was very frustrating that no one wanted to be my boyfriend, because I thought, oh, like I say, my mum's always said it's best to wait until I'm in a relationship. So I was trying to wait for this fucking relationship. Said it's best to wait until I'm in a relationship. So I was trying to wait for this fucking relationship, which never came. So it was very frustrating, than just like giving into it and just end up with my ruined. Every time there's always something missing from the meal, and she's never happy. She's always, she'll accept it one time, but then if it keeps happening, whereby there's something missing, she will go insane. That's no good, is it? So it would appear I don't have any carrots. Well, I tried to get them today, but for some reason they don't. Oh wait, yeah, there's some here. It's okay, it's okay. Very, very lucky. Got some here. Would like. And I'm not putting them in now, obviously. Where is it? Oh, I'll put them in at the end, so I can cover. So anyway, so I walked him through where the conversation kind of went awry, to kind of to iterate that it's actually his fault why he got the worst of me, because it depends on how people talk to me, like whether it's, as he put it, the bad attitude, jaded, bitter side, or he's gonna get like the bubbly, sweet, good personality side. And I guess, like I say, it offended me that he said what he said about me being implying that I'm asexual. I guess he was confused by my date idea, which was that, you know, I wanted to go swimming. And he was like going on about how that's, you know, you're half naked, I'm half naked, you know, isn't that like a little bit of a sexual sort of date? I guess he got confused by that, so he thinks I'm asexual, but I want to go swimming on a first date or something. It's like, again, I'm not asexual. and going swimming isn't really a sexual date still. It's just a bit more fun than just doing the usual boring stuff, like just the usual cliche dates, like going to lunch or dinner or getting coffee or going to da movie together or something. Like, I find that a bit boring. I just thought swimming would be more fun. Like I say, he just overthought it. He was the one overthinking things, and he started questioning me about it, virtually criticizing me about it. Like, first he said it was a sexual date, and then he said that it was a child's date. Like, oh, how old are you again? He said, oh, that's not the kind of date that you would go to if you as a 32-year-old, because he's 32. So it's like, wow. Criticizing me on my date choice, first saying it's a sexual date. I know, that's not right because I thought you were asexual. And then the next minute it's a child's date. Which is it? Is it a child's date or is it a sexual date? It's like... So here I am trying to explain all this to him, like his contradictoriness. And he's like not getting me. He's like, oh, you just have a bad attitude about everyone. No, you think, men are all bad. And, oh, you go by all your mum's bad, experiences. It's like, no, not really. No, not really. It's not all about that. I will admit my mum does have a bit of a bad attitude about, not men, but like relationships or whatever. And that men can, relationships with certain men can be trouble, but, I don't listen to that. I do form my own sort of opinions and, go off my own experiences. It just so happens that they collide with hers because I too am getting experiences like where they're just after me for sex, like they were with her. Like I am having the same experiences as her. It's not that I'm just listening to her and just being like gullible and just going along with her because it's all I know. It's like, no, I just happen to be having the same experiences too. And it like confirms certain things, But I don't really have a bad attitude. It depends how people treat me again. I got a headache. I'm just gonna see if he's replied. I'll be right back. We'll see.